I do. Welcome to a review on Doug McClaw's movie, The Land That Time Forgot. Obviously, this is part 2, so for Yorkshire folk and Yorkshire folk only, this is to remind you that you're watching part 2, because Yorkshire folk are different from other folk. So we'll continue. You know, obviously it's getting better now, because we're coming up to the rubber dinosaur bits now. We've done part 1, because part 1 was a bit dull, a bit watery and a bit wet, wasn't it? Because obviously most of it was in a submarine, and obviously, you know, they've just managed to hijack the bloody thing, and yeah, now they've got it, and now they've found Utopia, a world full of dinosaurs, because obviously we all know that England had the great spirit of having dinosaur movies, like the famous one with Raquel Welch, and obviously we all like the visions of pterodactyls attacking ladies in bikinis. Well, don't get your hopes too much, because we got Susan Peng Halligan, what isn't really a Raquel Welch, but obviously she has to make do for this movie, and obviously, you know, there's no Harry Rayhausen's special effects with you know, with plasticine or whatever it is, you know. But no, we are using like rubber, any type of rubber, recycled rubber, old tyres, condoms, whatever, I don't know, but they're just glove puppets or whatever, but they're not the rubber ones. So, seeing the high-tech sophistication of high-tech of, you know, watching pterodactyls flying around, well, you get the idea. So, obviously, for us, I come up to help Yorkshire folk when you buy a DVD, and obviously you go through all the menus to put in languages and all that lot, and then you'll get to, you know, for Yorkshire folk and Yorkshire folk only, as I keep saying, that I'll pop up a Yorkshire Doug McClaw to explain to Yorkshire folk what's happening in the movie, because if anybody other bugger tries to commentate about it, you'll be bloody confused. So, further ado, I think I should move on and let the actual person what's doing the review for folk. So welcome to part 2, everyone. Right.
So, finally, they get to a location now. Now, obviously, he is offered to help, you know, Doug, you know, to help him, because, like he said, you know, I'm stuck on his name. Obviously, he must be a good navigator. Even when you don't know where he is, he sort of does know where he is, because he talks about all this velocity, just has a quick glimpse at this scenery, and who knows this?
I believe that we are looking at the coast of Caprona, uncharted and forgotten for 200 years.
It's really good, isn't he? Well, the guy, I can't pronounce his name, but yes, you know, you're left with your imagination. This is before the Ozone had a hole in it, and you may be thinking it could be from north, something, you know, because you would think north, top of the planet Earth, and that could be why you got this creative land of tropical stuff, because the reason what gives it away is, because with the book again, there's not safe drinking water just yet, but some strange reason at this point in the movie that this is where they discover there's something strange, because Dougie's already come out with his speech like, you know, they're all going to die if they can't get into this place and whatever, and they don't really know what's going on, but they must have read the book. But yeah, we see a leaf and guy picks it up in bucket and passes it to the lad, and he takes his glove off and dips his hand in, you know, and he's like, oh, it's nice and warm water. Now, I was thinking at the time when I was a kid, somebody could have peed in it, you know what I mean? There's big dinosaurs, it could be dinosaur wee or whatever. It don't matter. You know, the guy from Duty Free, he comes along, right, strolls in, dips his hand in it, oh, it's nice and warm, oh, it's fresh water. And you're like, you're drinking it out at sea.
Well, this is fresh water and it's warm.
Surely, you know, it's a professional sailor, you don't drink, is that how you test water? You know, because you're not meant to drink seawater. So, the disco, well, it don't matter because him again must have heard their conversation really good. He's like, oh, there's your river. And next thing, like Doug's like, I'm taking over, we're going in. Right? I'm navigator, you do all driving and all that malarkey, and you know, and he's like, ooh, the bit of a tight bed, but give me more power. Power!
More power, give me more power. More power.
I don't really trust this guy, you know, and he's smashing the hell out of the submarine. He's determined to get it launched into this rock, and
More power, give me more power.
and then
More power, give me more power. More power, okay.
alright, he sees daylight, he says, and then
See light.
this is when we get our first glove puppet effect, because there's Doug looking through his you know telescope, and he's like and everyone asking him, what's wrong with it? Because it's only him who can see. Everyone's all in submarines, they ain't got white windows, have they, here all? Yeah, they're all trusting on Doug, and he's like, listen, it's nothing. And I'll be thinking, well, we'll just squeeze through a narrow gap, scraping the hell out of the submarine. Now you're saying there's nothing? You're hiding something, you bugger. What? Tell us what you're saying. And obviously, he's not going to say, oh, I've seen a Muppet puppet, you know, coming up there, you know. So they all open up, you know, as you do, and as we notice, it's all tropical and all that lot, and then you see this, there's a long shot of this puppet in water. Now, I have demonstrated how they might have done this, and low tech myself. Yeah, well, this is rubber, you know. So, you got the idea that they're all like, yeah, they're out in daylight, and yeah, and then this German or whatever, he says, hey, look at that lass, crocodile over there. And obviously, one of their guys gets, you know, devoured and eaten and and it's a kiddies movie. But you notice in kids movies, if someone gets shot or anything, or horribly, you know, they do, you know, it doesn't matter, you don't see anything. But have you noticed on these movies for kids, if somebody dies in water, there's always blood. More or less all. Most movies do it. But to give the thing that, you know, he's been eaten, he's dead. So the monster comes along again and sort of has a facelift or whatever, because it looks like a different creature, or they might change the socks or whatever, you know, swap patterns or something, you know, I don't know. Anyhow, it comes up and it looks completely different, and then when it's attacking Dougie, you know, it really looks different. And there he is with his rifle, you know, even his arm, and but he's taking it off because he's Dumberclaw, yeah? Now, some other guy comes out with a machine gun for First World War, no? Yeah. Takes out the great big whatever. And, because, you know, a lot of these guys know a lot of stuff about dinosaurs and that, and he knew when he noticed that, and things are kicking off about great big dinosaurs eating somebody. It don't matter. His life was in vain because, you know, it was like something like a, like, they're eating the damn thing. So, and this is why the movie might get even more,
you might have found that quite interesting or tried to manage to figure it out, but if you're not Yorkshire, you won't understand what they're on about. But obviously, you know, watching that with eating dinosaurs and squeezing submarines through little tight holes, well, obviously, it's not like a typical episode of Emmerdale, because obviously with Emmerdale, there's always them Yorkshire lassies, and obviously, we haven't got our eye candy coming up and doing anything just yet, because obviously, you know, she ain't doing it, because obviously, you know, you've been thinking, hoping that you're going to see some Raquel Walshes running around, aren't you, in fairy bikinis or something, aren't you? But no, it's not bloody Emmerdale. It is the land that time for bloody forgotten. You do forget, especially in all them bloody effects. So, let's carry on with the Yorkshire fella, and let's find out what happens more in this world.
So, they might have taken on that, you know, whatever, and they're eating it, and I think really with Doug is not really, I think he might be a vegetarian. He might be alright killing these rubber dinosaurs, but he don't look really like he's enjoying it. Or he might think, oh god, it's British, you know, food or something, I don't know. Now, they do talk about, you know, Irish fella cooking the food.
Miss Clayton?
Is Plesiosaurus a common dish in the British Navy, Mr. Alden?
I know, ma'am. The chef confessed complete ignorance of how to cook such a beast. This is an old Irish recipe I dreamed up for the occasion.
So, they're whining and dining and having food and eating dinosaurs, or whatever, puppets or whatever. But the thing is, yes, they come back out of the submarine and sort of discover what Laprona is in Yorkshire, so I might not be saying it right. So, it's not the ozone layer, obviously, because, you know, it's, you know, but it's a big giant volcano. About 200 miles, maybe. Let them explain.
I say Caprona was a volcanic crater.
The volcano, Miss Clayton, is at least 200 miles across.
So, we've already seen pterodactyls flying about, you know, but I didn't really want to mention it because, well, yeah.
They look like pterodactyls. But they can't be. They've been extinct for millions.
Yeah, you can see how cheap it was, maybe. I think they just went to the local toy shop and got some fishing wire and just swung them around, and someone was going, yeah, whatever, you know. It convinced us as kiddie winkies-ish. I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah, they don't flap the wings, yeah. But yeah, you can tell they're like these solid plastic toys just going around, yeah. To explain their explanation, because this is what I'm getting back about the, you know, the guy what tested the water when they were out before they got through, and he dipped his hand in and tasted the water, saying, oh yeah, that's warm, but oh, it's fresh, and he drank that out of the ocean. Now, They just found out they've been analysing the water.
The water's absolutely alive.
They're not like anything I've ever seen before. They almost seem to...
And Clever Club's here again. Can't see his bloody name, but yeah, him says this.
British empiricism. Until we find a stream or pool that is free of them, we will have no drinking water. What do you make of it?
I wonder who they're going to send to find water. Who is the main person what is good at testing for water? Or tasting more fresh water?
This water certainly tastes good, Wiley.
You haven't figured it out yet.
Aye, that's right. Keith Barron. He was a right legend in the UK when he used to do that series, Duty Free. Aye, a bit free, wasn't he? Aye, all that freedom with the ladies. Aye, he was that bloody Hugh Hefner. Aye, right bloody legend. Aye, yeah, he was. Aye, you know why? Because obviously he was in this movie, Abism. Yeah. Tasting the water, any mucky water, like a true Yorkshire fella or woman or whatever, you know, because what gender? Because we all drink our beloved dirty mucky water. It's called beer. That's right. But never mind that, because we'll have to move on, because obviously, you know, because everyone's affiliating like he's like Hugh Hefner, but obviously, you know who Hefner is. He was interested in that movie, you know, that Raquel Welch with dinosaurs and stuff like that. Oh, very, very popular and all that lot it was. But yes, as you all noticed with the pterodactyls, the wings don't flap and all that lot. Very cheap as muck, as alt, as naught, as by alt, but yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, as you know, that, you know, our beloved Emmerdale, it's a bit like that with Duty Free and Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion, it was, but I'm just rambling on, because obviously explaining more that the Yorkshire fella be telling you more about what's going on. So, further ado, let's find out some more.
So, as you do, you've been on the submarine, and so they find somewhere to park it, and they get the boat out, and they have to go on land, and you get, you know, Mr. Know-it-all or whatever, I don't know. It just seems to explain all this.
It's like a geologic exhibit. A world of life outside of time. Yet representing almost all the ages of the earth. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Yes.
Right, so, yeah. I think there's a bit more you need to explain.
In primitive nervous systems like this Allosaurus, even a fatal wound might register in the brain with a delayed action.
Science, maybe. I don't know. Anyhow, he knows his stuff, maybe. So, back to our professional water tester. Yeah. He knows his stuff.
This water certainly tastes good, Wiley.
Yeah, because it tastes nice. Now, they're being watched at this moment, right? You know, but now we see a bit where, you know, this is one of the bits where the movie gets really long and slow, and yes, I might be really excited when I was a kid, you know, thinking, wow, a couple of them, you know, what, but, you know, you left the imagination, maybe a couple of T-Rexes or whatever they are, and the blokes all lined up and, having, getting settled to take pot shots at these things, and this is how slow they walk, because these Handoval people we've been watching them decide to attack our guys, right? They have a big battle and the fighting, and these things are still coming at them, right? So at this pace, and the Handoval's sort of got bored or decided, well, let's leg it, because we're not used to humans having guns, so we didn't know, but, or they might have pointed out, oh, well, I think them things are getting a bit close for comfort, No. There's enough time for these things. Battle's over. I think they could have gone up on to submarine and had a cup of tea or something, by the time these things even make a bit of a distance. Anyhow, they're that slow that they just shoot them. And I don't know how many bullets it takes to kill one of these, but by heck, well, yeah. So, technically, yeah, that one might be expensive, and no, it doesn't work, actually, not even as a kid, really, but it's funny.
Look, they sounded a little bit disappointed, as you well know. Slow pacing bloody dinosaurs. You didn't get that in with Raquel Welsh, why? Fast-paced and stuff it was, yes, but that's what happens when you try to do it on the cheap and narrow. You should have got Harry Rayhausen into it thing with his stop-motion malarkey, that would have done very well, but not bad though, because you got all good old sex symbol, good, Doug McClure, but by heck, you can, I don't know, that, it does get more tense, folks, so if you want to carry on listening to Yorkshire Fella, because it's not like a typical episode of your good old Emmerdale. We're not with all them lassies running around and doing stuff. That's later on its sequel, that time that people forgot. And then they forget about the number one only, don't they? The actress, Susan Peng Halligan. She want to come back into it, I know. In sequel, but no, they weren't having it. They brought Dougie back, but only for a short bit. They did, but now we're carrying on with this movie, especially the me wittering on a little bit more. Let's see what the bloody Yorkshire fella's got to say.
So you've seen all these images, and it does remind me that a lot of those, be tempted to maybe make your own version, especially now you got more technology with green screens and stuff and all that lot. Yeah, you could make that effort. I mean, what gives me the idea, it seems funny. I mean, if you've gone on YouTube, obviously, because you're watching me, that you might check out a YouTuber called Big Jack Films, and he made his own remake of King Kong. He's actually reviewed other people's versions as well of the classic King Kong, and I ain't seen anybody maybe done that time as land. Yeah, it's Doug McClure movie. Maybe it puts people off. Yeah. So yeah. Because There's no point mentioning it bloody title, because obviously our German Mr. Dude, he bloody knew what it was called and all that lot. Yeah, there you are, his name. So, yeah. So, yeah. Dinosaurs, puppets, whatever. So,
Bloody hell, Bayek, I don't bloody well know. He went off the beaten track over there. He did. Won't make him bloody much sense. Well, he was, but, you know, never mind talking about your bloody self and bloody other bloody movies and stuff and all that lot. You don't have me doing that. When I come for vital stuff, I get right down to itty-kitty, nitty-gritty, when it comes down to Raquel Welch in the dinosaur movies, because that's what it was all based about. But obviously, this is one of them other dinosaur movies, as we all know, well known, with the Doug McClure one. The very first one of Doug McClure, that iconic sex symbol he was, he was, helping the noble British with the rubber dinosaur effects, but, yes, we want no fancy Harry Ray House and effects, but no, it had to make do, and had to do, you know, the best, what they make the most out of it, didn't they? Especially that Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote more stories about, a promo or whatever. Who wants a promo? As I say, it's somewhere, different, with dinosaurs in it. So, let's get on and see how we get on at the landscape of Aprona. Here I go.
So all that waiting for them, because they knew they were there, and some must have, because they all started panicking, didn't they? But Doug McClure, he says it's a Neanderthal, sort of, maybe, I don't know. He picks him up and they have a conversation, and then. He's at it again. He knows everything, right? He knows everything, right? Because he's not happy with Mr. Tyler's translation by punching Ham. He's not happy how he's trying to warn him. This is where we need Doug McClure to sort of like do his voiceover to explain, this.
They've been friendly. Until I tried to go south instead of north, as he had indicated. I was not to realize why until much later. Von Schoenberg is right.
Now, I'll be a bit worried about these lot, because obviously they're going around shooting dinosaurs and eating them. And now they've got in the submarine, I won't trust that they're thinking. I think they're all getting, just getting very, look, more food to eat, let's eat on. But no, it doesn't happen. But they did find it quite amusing, locking this guy practically in submarine. He hasn't seen one, has he? You don't know what it is. Well, seems fine to me, yeah.
I do, obviously, that caveman's going to be great in a bloody submarine. He'd be trying to figure out where the bloody kick started so he can rev it up and get it going and all that lot. Very clever, that stuff they're drinking, all that water. You'll be finding out later on in the movie that, it changes your genders and stuff and all that lot. Iffy diffy, dodgy water, like that Yorkshire water, I think, as well. I think that does the same as well. But, so, obviously, you want us to get back onto the other Yorkshire fella and find out what more happens into the damn well movie.
So, Home is obviously pressing everything in the submarine, maybe, and obviously they comment about stuff about him.
What an amazing experience it must be for him.
No more amazing than finding ourselves here.
So, when somebody lights a match and sparks up their pipe, you'd be thinking, like the old, maybe Doctor Who with fire or something, you know, like these cave handovals don't know what fire is, but obviously he does. He's that good. If you pay attention, it looks like he's gonna almost light a match himself.
He knows about fire.
He's trying to tell you that it can...
So, they've worked out, the translation maybe, that could be talking about oil. And this German fella's like thinking, yeah, we can make it in. We've got all the stuff to refine it. I didn't know that was an established piece of kit, you know, standard for, you know, submarines, but somehow, well, I'll go on with it then. Yeah, so they're going to go looking for oil with them. And then they get on land and starts being, yeah.
You can't blame the bloody hairy fella being a bit funny. If he's a bloody oil baron or something, you know, obviously he's going to be bloody upset and a bit hippie. I remember them lovely episodes of Dallas in the humble days, when Bobby had a teleporting shower or something, because obviously them oil barons are quite wealthy. But where there's muck, there's always money, they always said, or always bloody oil, because they're all meant to be dirty buggers with them oil people, aren't they? So obviously, yeah, of course someone's going to be bloody upset, you know, and it is oil. So what they're going to offer poor fella then, eh? It'll be quite interesting what the bloody Yorkshire fella's going to bloody say about that. Tickly, aye. So let's blind bloody find out.
So they're off to get the oil. Hom lays them up to this point where he can't go past, but obviously, you know, he's blurting out the word stole 'em, and Doug McClure, come on now, yeah, come on, like, come on, not having this malarkey. But Mr. Know-It-All, whatever, and well, she pipes up and all, like she knows, like, talking about it's a different tribe of people, and you know, Om's different, and I'll let them work it out for you.
Blue, I think he's saying that a bowlie can't go beyond this point.
Yes, and this marks the boundary of his territory.
Family tree.
Well,
So, now we've got a different set of fellas, or people, watching them now. And they're more advanced.
Oi up by gum. It's like that film I've been on about with Raquel Welch, 1 million BC, based on a true story. Well, there's a great big hairy fella, you know, Mr. Tumac, right? Meets advanced civilization, because they've managed to have or design pointy sticks, very pointy, sharp sticks, but Tumac, this this stone man fella, well, he makes these bigger, actually. Taking up dinosaurs and all that lot, but obviously, you know, but yeah, it might be like that. They're all getting advanced, and obviously more advanced humans are more advanced to, you know, to fight wars against and outsmart the other opponents and stuff and all that lot. So it's going to be quite interesting what the Yorkshire fella's going to be saying about the movie now. Ah, well, let's get to it, and it'll be quite interesting. Aye.
So, they actually get boat or bolo or whatever, you know, across, and anyhow, you get a shot where you see a couple of bonfires and guys like, you know, maybe having a tea break, Douglas the Claw trying to get to sleep, and the solos or whatever. Anyhow, the tap there, the people at the night, I mean, they managed to get one guy, obviously, and then obviously they start shooting him, and obviously another guy gets killed because, well, yeah, they got a grave. So, Bolo, Sulus and all that lot, right, Ian is going to explain the technical of the plot of whatever, because
It's not an uncommon belief that the soul of the dead is reincarnated each time on a higher level. Yes, he's different from the Bolu. His species is more advanced. As your saying would have it, this chap was late for his own funeral.
Yeah, do sound a bit complicated now, don't it, that? You didn't get that with Raquel Welsh in 1 million BC, No, it's quite simple, but, you know, with that Edgar Rice, if you ever read any of his books, it does get a little bit complicated with the land that time forgotten, and the people you forgot, and something else you might forget. The bloody story plot. I think. Should keep things simple, but by gum, I've got gratitude that, you know, for a Yorkshire fella to try to barely understand the complications of of this movie is quite very technically impressive. So, further ado, I think we should carry on to see what else happens and what intellectual Yorkshire information we might get on the Yorkshire opinion. Yeah, I'll move on and let's find out.
so with all this, you might have noticed now that, right. He's explaining his theory, right? Now, I left certain bits out, you know, because it's so tediously slow with two dinosaurs, if you remember far back. Now, he explains about why them dinosaurs might have died because they didn't realise they were dead, you know. His theory is this. He is actually in the book.
No, there's nothing wrong with our shooting, gentlemen. In primitive nervous systems like this Allosaurus, even a fatal wound might register in the brain with a delayed action.
Now, they're discovering with, and he's drawing little stick men, and
No, he thinks he will actually change physics. I think Arm believes that one day he will become like us and be known as Darwin.
yeah, they're coming out with that theory, yes.
It's the same in the microscopic world. Creatures at every stage of evolutionary development, the same with the men, the same with the animals. Millions of years of evolution embraced on this island.
So, never mind that. They move on and finally on the way back to, well, they find oil. And this guy's well happy because he's, rake it in. But
Oil. If you know where there's enough oil, We can refine it. We've got all the equipment we need.
They come up to a side Ceratops, you know, and maybe this other one's a T-Rex, and you sort of like see a like a big dinosaur fight, you know. As us kids maybe imagine how T-Rex and Triceratops fought, you know, it's got horns and does that. Anyhow, so Triceratops sort of disappears, and you know, you get the other ones what have that certain a different pattern. I think it's that one of them. Well, there's two of them, but yeah, because we've got Mr. Know-It-All what's going to explain that, because what I don't. Problem with the movie is, right, even as a kid, you see dinosaurs, you feel that vibe of being scared, you know, this thing's gonna eat you, and in this, it just looks like these dinosaurs are like, oh, yeah, you know, just standing there. Surely, we're seeing like Grungy, you know, the Hidden Valley of Grungy, and yeah, sure, that fight's one, and that was vicious. You know, it charged like a rhino, and these things, and you can see where Doug McClure and yeah. Oh, going back to the summary. Obviously they got to get off board, but you know, he's been told to, you know, send him a message to use the cannon, and obviously he's there, and you know, this happened. Well, it's just an excuse.
It's a Styracosaurus of the Cretaceous group. You know, there's a secret to this island, something that we haven't been able to fathom yet.
I think everybody, young kid who have that imagination, will think, oh, when it be cool if they had a tank or something, you know, having a tank fighting a dinosaur or something. Yeah, so, yeah, you get that, but the thing is, the expense of dinosaurs, you'd be thinking, them two are in danger, but you don't get that. The dinosaurs just seem like they just stand there. Or they come too slow, and yeah.
That's right, yes. There's no messing about with 1 million BC. All you see is great animal effects, like someone's pet shop might lend them some animals, you know, like seeing, you know, tarantulas, iguanas, and maybe a turtle or something, and two, you know. But you know, the typical normal pets you might notice. But obviously, yeah, there's you know, like pythons and stuff. But obviously, all types of animals are in that movie as well. But obviously, well, this Doug McClure malarkey movie, yeah. You know, that land that time forgot. Time I forget about bloody puppets. But obviously, some of them have got bloody polystyrene for, you know, for stuff. Well, you know, you got a puppet, you fill it up with polystyrene. So, obviously, when you're going to blow it up and all that, look, So, really, really interesting, this movie. You know, with Doug McClure and all that lot. But, you know, for Yorkshire fella, I think the Yorkshire fella should explain a little bit more about these strange dinosaurs, don't you think? Yeah, it'll be bloody handy, it won't be.
So, as you know, we saw that dinosaur getting its, well, as we gather, it's got like a, you know, you saw the polystyrene on it, you know, it was like that. If you notice the polystyrene, look, you know. But the point is, they're talking about evolution, aren't they, and stuff, and on the island, and messing about with the water, and obviously, we've got it written in English for you now. Right, so, we've got him explaining this.
It's the same in the microscopic world. Creatures at every stage of evolutionary development. The same with the men, the same with the animals. Millions of years of evolution embraced on this island. And whether we stay or...
You be thinking all that oil and all them dinosaurs be quite the interesting place to stay and make a bloody fortune. Aye, raking all the oil and making a bloody theme park. But obviously, you know, you're thinking rubber dinosaurs and stuff, or glove puppets and stuff, and I don't know. You didn't get none of that back in the days of 1,000,000 BC. Yeah, with Raquel Welch. Oh, yeah, well, none of that. And there's none of that in this movie, you know. But further ado, let's see how the Yorkshire fella puts it. Crikey. Let's see.
So we see some more puppets, you know, a bit like that. I think it could be a Stegosaurus, alright, but, you know, I don't know my stuff. Anyhow, this guy does, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Right, so, you get Doug narrating or saying this.
Von Schoenberg is right. The creatures of Caprona were like those that existed in prehistoric times. And the further we followed the river north, the more highly developed they became. And hand in hand.
So you can gather, they've gone up further upriver, and they're looking at that water again, and yeah. And his name gets mentioned again, where we go back to the oil finery, and the British and the Germans are not getting on. Obviously, when they're talking about taking out hunting battleships down, and the Germans don't like it when...
Sink a British cruiser. He's not very good against lifeboats, though, is he?
So they have a bit of a fight. Well, in the book, they always mention about killing women and children on lifeboats, but yeah, it's a dig. Yeah, they got taken over by a lifeboat, didn't they? But you know, small target, I suppose. But...
He's not very good against lifeboats, though, is he?
And they're producing oil, and the shooting and stuff, and fires, and no health and safety back them days, you know. Even back then when they were filming this, 70s.
It's like a typical James Bond movie. You know, there's always a bloody volcano blowing up, isn't there? When the bad man's leg gets destroyed by a bloody volcano. And obviously with this, you know, chain reaction, obviously you'd be thinking firing guns and oil and stuff, and obviously oil burns and blows up or whatever, in Hollywood or whatever, things blow up in the movies. So on that note and on that high diddly dee, that I think that was quite an interesting climax, I think, and it was quite interesting. So why don't I just leave it further ado and leave it at that and say goodbye for now, and let's have a, you know, a humble part 3 coming up shortly for you, because as we all remember 1, if you won't go that far down the channel to find it, because we've, you know, like the title says, it's time that folk forgot, or land time forgot. Yeah, you know the title. So I'm going to beg her off before I bloody forget what I might be doing today. Yeah, part 3 I think, not yet. For the moment, farewell, toodaloo, have a great day, or great year, or whatever. You know, I'll end it on that.
I'm Melissa, that's me, fully. Goodbye!
Bye, have a great time.